As a young man in your 20s or even 30s, starting a business is the worst thing that you could do. And I know, sounds hypocritical coming from a young business owner, but it is the truth for so many different reasons. One of those many reasons is quite simple. You're not built as different as you think you are. And I'm not saying this to be a dickhead, I just want to tell you the truth. Not just that, but entrepreneurs are on the rise, and they have been for a really long time. They are making the same money, having longer careers, and they have the security of always getting paid. I can confidently say right now, if I had no business, I would still be rich. And for the simple reason that I know what to do and how to actually do it. And on top of that, I would do it without the stress and the risk. And let's face it, 99% of people, probably you watching this video, you don't want to take the risk. You definitely don't want the stress and responsibility, but I know you want to be free. You want to have that true freedom. Unfortunately, you just don't know how to get it yet. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why starting a business is not your answer. And then I'm going to show you how you can get just as rich and have just as much freedom without starting that business, and how you can do it without putting tens of thousands of dollars forward. Because if you figure this out and you watch closely in the next few minutes, you will no longer be even wanting to start a business, and you will no longer be in survival mode. You will be rich as long as you follow the steps. And of course, I've used this same no business strategy to take other normal people, working class people, just like Alexa, from thinking business was the answer, and of course not being able to start because of how much capital is required, to $20,000 a month in her first 30 days. And that automatically made it more accessible if she did want to go start a business. And of course, the best part is I am giving it away completely for free, because I'm on a mission to take 5,000 people from having nothing and not really seeing their dreams come to fruition to be able to have their dreams come true, make a ton of money, and be leaders in their household and their community. So like I said before, starting a business is not your answer. And I can say that with the utmost confidence. For very, very few of you, it is the right move. But for the majority of you, it will set you back years and even decades. And that truth really sucks to hear, but it's the truth. And there's many different reasons for this, but I'm gonna go over the main 3 reasons to show you what business is actually like. And that's simply because I do it right now. So the first main reason is going to be stress and responsibility. When you own a business, there is a ton of stress and a lot of responsibility. And most of the time, the responsibility that you have is what's causing the stress. But just to give you an example of what that looks like, you have to understand as a business owner, especially when you have a team. But let's take that out of the equation first. Let's say you don't have a team. You have to take on everything as the business owner. You have to be the one that gets the leads into the business, closes the leads to be able to have the business make money. And then you have to fulfill on those leads to make sure that every single person is happy, or you will lose money. Now, on the flip side of that, if you do have a team and they're taking care of those responsibilities, you have a new responsibility and a new level of stress that has just knocked on your door. And that level of stress and responsibility is now not only, of course, do you have to make money and the business has to make money, but you now support multiple different families, not just your own. And that comes with a massive responsibility and a massive load of stress. Now, the second reason is actually really, really simple, and it's what most struggle with right now, and you're probably familiar with it. It's the capital needed to actually start a business in many different aspects. Of course, number one, you have to be able to invest in yourself, and that's with pretty much everything. You have to gain skills. But with a business, you have to invest in multiple different skills. You have to understand how to actually market so you can get leads. You have to then invest in yourself, whether it's time or money, to be able to close those leads once you get them. And of course, you have to be an expert in what you're providing as a service or product. If you're not, and you don't have that skill, you are not going to be successful, especially when it comes to a business building its own product. You have to be very versed in that skill as well. And that is a lot of cost just to get skills. On top of that, you have additional costs to actually run the business. How are you getting leads? Are you spending time actually doing it on social media, or are you spending a ton of money on ads? You have to be able to have that capital as well so that you can support the business. And then of course you have the capital of actually hiring hiring people that you have to pay every single month. Capital is no joke when it comes to business, and if you don't have it, good luck. Now, the last point is this. It's hard, it's lonely, and of course, pay cuts. So many people don't talk about this side of entrepreneurship because they buff it up to be absolutely incredible. And it does have a lot of rewards if you can get through this, but the tough part are these 3 things that I'm listing. Now, this last reason, it is hard. A lot of people think, oh, I'm built different, right? I can go through the hard. And you might be able to get through the hard, but it's also lonely. And also, if the business doesn't make money, neither do you. It is extremely difficult, and you have to push through that difficulty. And so many people give up when it gets difficult because they're not getting paid. They're not seeing the fruit of their labor. They're not seeing anything. And that is super, super important. Now, on the lonely side of things, it does get lonely, especially when you're the business owner. You have to separate yourself from all of the other employees. Otherwise, you're going to lose respect really fast. You can't become everyone's friend. You have to be the boss. And trying to find that line is very, very difficult. I have tried for a long time, and it's just a line that is very, very hard to be able to actually navigate through. So you have to be the boss, and it's going to be very lonely. And last but not least, of course, pay cuts, right? Kind of self-explanatory. If the business makes no money, you don't make money. That's it. There is no safety, security, anything like that. You will not make money if the business doesn't make money. And even if the business does make money, if it's making money to survive and pay the other employees, guess what? You still don't make money. You as the CEO, especially, and as the owner, you get paid last. So always remember that. It is very, very difficult. And entrepreneurship is not as glorified as people make it out to be. You now know the first truth that most of the gurus out there just aren't going to tell you. And in my opinion, you have the right to all of the information because all of that information is extremely important. But now you have to truly figure out how you can achieve it without starting a business. You don't just need to know that business is not the answer. You need to know what that alternative option looks like and what it is. And once you do, your life and your perspective will change entirely. You see, there actually is a way that you can get rich and be free without starting a business and being the CEO and owner. Not only that, but there's plenty of examples right now that you know that you may have not been paying attention to that have not started a business and made a ton of money. And then of course, there's only 6 strategies you need to accomplish that I followed, and my opportunity in my life was endless because of these 6 strategies. And it's so powerful that once you understand it, you will be getting a taste and grasping for the first time what true freedom is actually like in just as little as 30 days. But 99% of people don't know what these 6 strategies even are. So I'm about to show you what they are, exactly how they work, and give you an example so you know exactly what your next action steps will be. Now, with that being said, how you can actually be just as rich and have the same freedom as a normal CEO and business owner is actually really simple. And again, when this realization hit me, it changed my life and so many others because of it. But first, I don't want you to take my word for it. Take a look at this example of a person that has literally done exactly what I'm saying. They didn't start a business, they chose the entrepreneur route, and they got filthy rich because of it. And then of course, after that example, I'll show you the 6 steps that you can unlock right now to achieve the same thing. Now, here's the example. Everyone knows what Microsoft is. It is a massive company that has generated billions and billions of dollars. But it's also generated a well-known billionaire named Bill Gates. Everyone knows that as well. And if you don't, just Google Microsoft. But guess who's on that same Forbes billionaire list? Really, really close to Bill Gates. It's actually someone that worked in Microsoft, didn't create the company, didn't build it from the ground up. They just worked for the company. This person constantly was learning, constantly investing, improving their skills, and now they're worth a whopping 121 billion with a B dollars. And his name is Steve Ballmer. And if you don't know who he is, just Google it. But Steve Ballmer is one of the very well-known people that didn't start the company, didn't do anything of that nature, just worked his way up, invested in himself, constantly learned, constantly gained skills, and look at the magic that happened. He is a billionaire. He just invested the money that he earned and continued to do do amazing. So it is possible, and that is a prime example right there. Now, the question I'm sure you're asking is, okay, cool, Steve Ballmer made a ton of money, but how do I do this? Very simple. All you need to do is acquire skills. Now, what skills should you acquire? There are a ton of different skills that you can obviously acquire to be able to go to that next level. But a couple of them, in my opinion, that will make the most money and have the most opportunity for growth are going to be, number one, of course, closers. Closers have the opportunity to make a ton of money. They have the ability to be free because of their time, especially in this online remote space. You get to set your calendar to whatever you want to set it to, as long as you're a good closer. That's pretty much it. Now, that's just one skill set that you can do. Or you can learn a different skill set, like a fulfillment role. What are the products that are out there? How are you versed in them? How can you teach them? That is a really good opportunity to not only get paid and have really good security, but have a way to work your way up in that company very quickly. Because if you're the person that is producing a ton of results, the company itself is going to cherish you very much and pay you very well because of it. Now, another skill that you could acquire as well is understanding how operating a business actually works. And at that point, you can become a chief operating officer of an entire company and even get a percentage of that company because you're understanding how it operates. You're building out systems to operate really, really well. And of course, you're basically the backbone of that business and how it operates, how it runs, and how it succeeds. That is a really, really big skill, just like closing, to acquire as well. Now, of course, the list could go on, but those are the main three that I would really focus on because you can make a ton of money from that. Now, one of the questions that you may have is, how do you acquire? There is a ton of resources out there. Just look, especially on social media. There is a ton of people that actively have courses and things that you can take to be able to gain these skills and shortcut the learning curve. If you're somebody that just for some odd reason doesn't want to shortcut the learning curve and you want to take the super long route because you think you're amazing, congratulations, cool for you, you're going to take longer. But what you can do is you can just study, pick up books, go to YouTube, search for the skill that you're wanting, and then go and actively study the crap out of it. If you can do that, you will be able to do whatever you want because you have studied the skill, you understand the skill, and you can apply that skill. Now, one of the most important steps in this is going to be the next step, is being able to invest in yourself. Guys, it doesn't matter if you start a business or you're learning a skill or you're doing anything, you have to be able to invest in yourself. Now, that can be with time or it can be with money. That is completely up to you, and I'm not here to sell you anything, but you do need to invest in yourself, especially when it comes to skills. If you don't have a skill, or let's even take it back further, if you're not getting paid enough right now, it's because you don't have a skill. That's it. Your skill is just not there. So what you need to do is acquire that skill, which means you're gonna have to invest one of two things, time or money. It's almost like a martial art. Take jujitsu, for example. If you don't invest your time into learning jujitsu, you're never gonna be good. Also, if you don't invest your money into training, into a school, into a gi, or into spats, or anything like that, you're not gonna be able to train and you're not gonna ever have that skill. You have to be willing to invest no matter what it is. So if you're wanting to learn a skill like closing, you're wanting to learn a skill like being the COO, invest in the skill itself, invest into learning it, and that will go a long way for you. Now, the fourth tip is start your entrepreneur journey as soon as you possibly can. All you have to do is, after you've learned the skill, you've invested in yourself, you've put a bet on yourself to believe in you, you've placed that. As soon as you've done that, all you have to do is go apply yourself and actually get the position. Now, that doesn't mean the first place that you apply to is going to hire you. Apply yourself and invest your time into that as well. Apply everywhere. Showcase your skills, okay? If you want to take an even better approach, showcase your skills for free for a business owner for a month to gain two things. One, to show yourself that you can actually do it, and two, to show the business owner that you're here to do a really good job for a really long time. If you can do that with the skills that you've accomplished, you are going to get paid a substantial amount because of that. But the important piece in all of that, and the important message, is start your journey as soon as possible. Stop waiting. Most people invest their time, they invest their money, they invest all these things, they learn all these skills, they figure it out, and then they don't do anything with it. That's like boxing for 12 years of your life, or 15 years of your life, or 20 years for your life, and putting blood, sweat, and tears all over the ring and never competing, never getting the chance to actually go and showcase everything that you've learned and the wars that you've been in your gym. That kind of sucks. sucks. Don't do that, okay? Learn the skills, understand them, and then go start your journey immediately so you can see the fruit of the labor that you've put in. And the final step and final point I will make is this. This does not mean you have to work your way up a ladder in a chain. It's all based on the skills that you have obtained. So if you obtain really good skills, you don't work your way up, you just make money. This is not something where you have to start in an online business as an appointment setter, as the very beginning, and then work your way up and work your way up. No, it's all skill. It's all based on the skill level that you've obtained. If you have obtained the skill of closing, you're not gonna go be an appointment setter. You're gonna be a closer. And if anybody offers you that position, turn them down and be a closer. Go somewhere else. You have obtained the skill to be in that position. So this does not mean you're going to work your way up the ladder. You are going to be exactly in the position that you have obtained the skill for. And that is amazing. So if you want to go be the COO and get a percentage of the company, do that. All you have to do is have the skills to do it. That's it. You didn't work your way up. You just got the position, and then all of a sudden you got a bunch of different percentages from the company and got paid a lot. Now, one final point I'll make in all of this, with learning, with being able to apply your skills, start the journey, all that good stuff. There is a hard way and there is an easy way to do all of this. A hard way being very egotistical and doing it yourself. That is going to be very, very difficult. If you accept no help from anybody, it's going to be a very long journey for you, and it's going to feel like you're working your way up the ladder every single day of your life. But there's also a really easy way. That easy way, again, is just investing. Invest in yourself. You are worth it, and you have to tell yourself that. You're worth the money. Your skills are worth the money, and plus you're going to get paid a ton of money back anyway. Invest. If you can do that, you will be ahead of 99% of people. The only reason that I'm in the position that I'm in today is because I chose to invest in myself. You can do it too. Me and you are no different. Now, at the end of the day, every single thing that you could possibly learn, whether it's starting a business or it's going in and acquiring a bunch of different skills in a bunch of different places, it all works. It's just up to you and what your goals are. If you don't want the risk, you don't want the responsibility, you don't want any of that, don't do it. You can still get rich and still be free despite what everybody else says. If you don't want any skills, you don't want to be underneath somebody, you want to start a business, cool, go start the business. All of it works. You just have to dedicate yourself to it, and you have to invest in yourself. One of the reasons that I chose to be in business is because I wanted to make a bigger impact on people's lives. That's the reason that I did it. But a really important point to point out is I had a lot of skills before I started the business, and that is very important. If you don't have any skills right now, there is no reason you should be starting a business, because it's going to be a lot longer journey than you thought it was going to be. Just go out there, gain the skills, be a closer, be a CEO, be a fulfillment leader, be whatever it is that you want to be, and be rich the way you want to be rich. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure and check out my channel for any other videos that you really want advice on. If you want to become a closer, of course, there's two options. One, you can go watch all the videos on my channel, or two, I actually have a free course down below this where you can learn that skill. You can be able to invest your time into that free course and be able to learn the skills immediately. Okay, so if you want to do that, make sure and click the link below. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure and hit that like and subscribe button for me if you enjoyed this video.